What should you focus on when you're starting a new job? We're going to be talking about that today in the Trove Design podcast with myself, Charlie Briggs, and my co host, Andres Ramirez. Hi, Andres. So, I'd love to bring this in particular with
Mhm.
design positions and people maybe coming out of university or college and getting into a new job. What are some tips and tricks that we can give them based off of our experiences starting new jobs on kind of what to focus on to be successful, thinking about that first month to 3 months. For the listeners, I've actually just recently started a new full-time position with a company. And so this is very recent and new in my head. And so hopefully we can give you some really good tips and tricks. But Andres, do you have any thoughts on this?
Ooh, a lot of thoughts do come rushing to my head. I gotta say, it's been a while since I've started a new job, but that feeling must be very excited and very I would almost say scared at the same time because you just don't know what's gonna happen next. You don't know if someone's gonna ask you a funny question like, "Aren't you too young to be doing this?" or "Are you how experienced are you with this?" That kind of stuff. But really, it might be just the other person genuinely just curious, and because we're visual people, we just judge by
Mhm.
how we just see people. So a lot of things come to mind. Uh, for me, I would say is try to keep relaxed during your
Mhm.
onboarding. I would say in the first 3 months, it's going to be a little rocky. The processes might be not familiar to you. There might be the way they do things at a certain company might be way different from the other companies that you're familiar with, or even if you're transitioning from school to the career, it's going to be so different because in school it's catered so you're set up for success. Not saying that when you're going to a company they're setting you up for failure, but there might be
Mhm.
some holes there, and that might be an opportunity for you to note and ask some more clarifying questions about that. So I would say if you're starting a new job, I would say make sure you have a notebook of some kind, or maybe a digital thing like a tablet, and write questions as you go through the onboarding process. Hope Did that answer your question, Charles?
It definitely does. Yeah. And I'd like to kind of expound upon some of those things we're talking, or really just bounce off some ideas on. I know in my experience, the first month, first maybe even 3 months, you're really just learning, and everybody at that job should know that you are really there to just learn at this point in time. There's a lot of things that you don't get told in college or at previous jobs, and maybe you're switching a little bit. So I would say give yourself a little bit of grace and compassion as you get into this new job, to realize that you are going to be learning quite a bit, and also realize that that kind of learning takes up a lot of brain space, a lot of emotional space, and can make you very tired to basically learn 8 hours a day consistently for 5 days a week. The other thing that I wanted to mention is just that idea of when you come out of university in particular, but even transitioning from other jobs and you move forward into the next job, that I think university sets us up to, at least for myself, I know you want to achieve and you want to get those high grades and do really well and perform right away. I think one of the things that can be really hard is when you get into a new job, and it is focused more on that learning and less on the performance side. It can be really difficult. I know myself, I've struggled with getting into a job and wanting to accomplish tasks or do certain things, but really I haven't had the time to put in the repetitions that are needed to get really good at something. So I think, again, just giving yourself grace with, okay, I'm learning a whole lot. There's a lot of things that I need to try still and fail at before I can really do well at this job, or and crush what I'm supposed to be doing. So I think those would be my two pieces of advice, Andres.
Those are great.
Awesome. So yeah, if you have any other thoughts as a listener, please put it in the comments below. What are some tips and tricks that you found for the first month to 3 months of a new job that have helped you? And hopefully we can have a really good conversation in the comments and help each other out as we transition into new careers and new jobs. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the podcast. If you like these videos, please subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you for joining us.